Will Social Security run out of money? This is a really good question that pops up way more often than a lot of us probably recognize, and the burning question from many seniors out there right now wondering, are my benefit checks in jeopardy, and is there going to be this massive reduction of my benefit that so many people have been talking about for the last several years? There's also younger generations out there who may be eligible to receive Social Security maybe in 10 or 15 or 20 years wondering, is Social Security even going to be around for me when I'm eligible to take my monthly benefit? These are all really good questions and certainly valid concerns, which I will be answering for you here in this video. I'm going to say this much. The answer is yes and no at the same time. I'll explain what I mean by that. And again, I just want to point all this out for you and answer that question because a lot of people really want to know. And this is by far the biggest program out there that serves well over 74 million people every single month that receive benefits from the Social Security Administration. And it's increasing at a pace of about 11,000 people a day that are becoming eligible for Social Security. It's a lot of people, right? So the roles of Social Security are expanding massively and very rapidly. Therefore, a lot of people continue to wonder the same thing. Are these benefits going to continue to be there throughout my entire retirement and basically for the rest of my life? Really, really good questions. And again, I think we can all probably recognize we've been hearing very similar statements like this probably for the last 40 plus years, right? Or maybe even longer. For as long as I can live, I remember hearing statements like this way back long time ago. Oh, Social Security is going away, stuff like this, okay? I'm going to say this. You don't need to worry about Social Security going away. But at the end of the day, yes, they are running out of money. But at the same time, no, kind of not really. I will explain all that for you here in this video and what it means for monthly benefit checks. Now, if you're watching this video around Social Security, I would anticipate you're probably also enrolled in Medicare or you will be enrolling in Medicare soon. If that is the case, please take advantage of that free resource right there. They've already helped out about 5,000 of you here in this community that have called that phone number right there completely for free to get help with your Medicare plan. Remember, Medicare only pays 80% of your medical expenses. You're on the hook for the other 20%. Please do not get blindsided by a massive medical bill because you have either the wrong coverage or no coverage whatsoever. This team of advisors right there, completely for free, have access to over 20,000 plans that will help you find the best plan for you and your personal situation to help make sure that you're properly covered and to make sure that you are saving as much money as you possibly can. Here's another really cool part about it. A lot of people don't realize this. There's a lot of plans out there that have extra benefits along with their plan, like really, really cool stuff. So a lot of people here in this community, like I said, about 5,000 of you are saving a ton of money, getting better coverages, and a lot of very, very happy people. Anyway, give them a call right there. If you're currently on Medicare, talk to them, especially here during annual enrollment. If you're going to be enrolling in Medicare, again, call them, let them help you with your Medicare initial enrollment, and bring your list of questions. By the way, after you talk to them, drop a comment down below on any video, use the word chapter, and by the way, that's the keyword that I search for, and I'd love to give you a shout out in a future video, just like I've been doing for so many other people here in the community over the last several months. All right, anyway, let's talk about Social Security. Are they really running out of money? What's the situation here? Okay, it's kind of confusing. The answer is yes, they are, but at the same time, no. The income to Social Security is basically never going to stop for the most part. Okay, now let's break this down one by one here. Let's talk about yes, number one. Okay, so yes, Social Security technically is running out of money. Uh-oh, do we need to be worried? Yes and no. Okay, a lot of yes and no's here. I'm not liking this. All right, anyway, let's just explain this super fast. Okay, so obviously Social Security has three main income sources. Number one is taxation on payrolls, in other words, payroll taxes, okay? It's represented as the employment tax, or basically FICA on a pay stub. It's 12.4% of every dollar that is earned up to the maximum taxable earnings cap is taxable by Social Security payroll taxes, and that is where Social Security gets the bulk of its money from, about $1.4 trillion based on the most recent Social Security Board of Trustees report. $1.4 trillion that they brought in last year just from payroll taxes. It's a lot of money, right? Could you imagine a $1.4 trillion annual income? I think I could do it. I'd be very happy with that, right? Obviously, that'll never happen. I'm just saying that'd be really, really cool. We could buy entire continents probably, right? Anyway, that'd be super cool. Okay, so anyway, that's source number one. Now, source number two is money that they earn from taxation of Social Security benefits. This is a relatively small amount. It's $55 billion, again, based on the most recent report that was released. Last year, they collected $55 billion from seniors. And then the last source of income is interest on the money in the trust fund. Last year, it was $69 billion. So again, a relatively small amount. Those are the three sources of income for Social Security, okay? Obviously, two of them are relatively small. One is massive in comparison, okay? Here's the problem with this. We continue to see a couple different factors happening, which is more and more and more beneficiaries coming on to the Social Security rolls, which is awesome. It means that people are retiring. It means that people are claiming their benefit. It means that people are enjoying their retirement. That's awesome. That's really, really nice, right? But here's the situation. The more and more people that come onto the rolls, the more and more money that is going out. Meanwhile, the labor participation rate, in other words, the people that are working and paying in through Social Security payroll taxes is, well, it's getting smaller. Therefore, what it means is that less and less people are paying in through Social Security payroll taxes. More and more people are filing for their benefit, meaning, we have a deficit, right? In other words, more money going out, less money coming in. The trust fund is slowly being strained. Does that make sense, right? What I mean by that is based on the most recent Board of Trustees report, last year, the trust fund had $2.72 trillion. It's a lot of money, $2.72 trillion. However, the trust fund was drawn down by over $40 billion. In other words, the money that they brought in from their three sources of income, $1.4 trillion from payroll taxes, $55 billion from taxation of seniors, and $69 billion from interest on the trust fund, all of that income combined was still over $40 billion short of what they actually needed to pay out to beneficiaries. In other words, they drew the trust fund down by a little more than $40 billion. Okay, it's not that much, but they did. But here's the problem with this. In roughly the next 7 years, with the additional benefits going out to beneficiaries, the lack of money coming in through the three sources of income will result in insolvency of the trust fund. What that simply means, simply put, is that the trust fund, that $2.72 trillion that I mentioned, will be empty. In other words, it'll be gone. It'll all be paid out to the beneficiaries, which seems super weird. Like, how could you possibly pay out $2.72 trillion to beneficiaries in the next 7 years? Well, it's going to happen. That's what's going to happen based on the projections right now, okay? So in my first answer is yes, they are running out of money, as in the trust fund is being depleted, and it will be completely depleted. In other words, empty in about 7 years, give or take. That's based on the most recent reports that are out there, okay? Trust fund will be empty, and they're drawing in the trust fund right now to cover the balance that needs to go out to beneficiaries, okay? All right, so that's number one. Yes, running out of money in the trust fund. Now, my other answer is no, they're not running out of money. Here's what I mean by that. As long as there are people working in this country, as long as there are people that are earning an income, as long as there are taxes on payrolls, as in paychecks, from Social Security, then Social Security will continue to have an income. Does that kind of make sense, right? So remember, the largest source of income to Social Security is $1.4 trillion based on last year's numbers. Again, the most recent report out of the Board of Trustees that came out, $1.4 trillion came in from taxation, okay, payroll taxes. As long as people continue to pay those taxes, as in people are still working and AI hasn't taken over every single job in the entire world, or at least in this country, as long as people are still working and paying that 12.4% payroll tax, 6.2% paid by the employee, 6.2% paid by the employer, 12.4% in total, as long as that is still being collected, Social Security is still bringing in income every single month that they're pushing right back out the door to beneficiaries. They bring it in one door through income, through taxation, payrolls, and then they push it right back out to beneficiaries through monthly check distributions. Does that make sense? So yes, they are depleting the trust fund. So yes, they're running out of money, but no, they're not going to be absent of income because they will continue to have income rolling in through payroll taxes. Does that make sense? Right? So that's that. Okay, so that's what that all comes down to. Now, what about this massive cut to benefits? Okay, well, I've explained this before in other videos. I'll explain it again super fast here. In the event of insolvency, okay, so in other words, the trust fund, anytime that I say trust fund, by the way, replace it with savings account. Savings account, it's the same thing. They call it a trust fund, it's a savings account. We call it a savings account because that's what we have personally. Social Security calls it a trust fund. It's literally the same thing, okay? A place in which they store or hold money, okay? Anyway, when insolvency hits, in other words, what that means is the trust fund is completely drawn down to zero. In other words, the savings account has been emptied. They emptied the savings account. They paid all the money out to the beneficiaries. When that happens, what happens is that the money coming in through the sources of income that they have left at that point, payroll taxation, taxation on benefits from seniors, there would no longer be income coming in from money in the trust fund. That would be a lost source of income at that point, simply because, well, if there's no money in the trust fund, how can they collect interest on it? They can't. They can't collect money on money that is not there, right? So they would lose that source of income. But when the trust fund becomes depleted, they would need to cut benefits by, well, based on the most recent reports, between 19 and 23%, in order to send out those monthly benefits to beneficiaries, in order to basically take the money that's coming in through their sources of income and distribute it back out. And the only way that they could do that is by cutting benefits by between 19 and 23%, depending on a couple factors there, and then send that money right back out to the beneficiary. Does that kind of make sense? So that's where that comes in, okay? So there you go. There's the long-winded answer on, is Social Security running out of money? Yes, depleting the trust fund, but at the same time, no, their income sources will continue as long as people are working in this country and as long as there are taxes on Social Security benefits, which is not going away anytime soon, and as long as the payroll tax on Social Security, or I should say for Social Security, is still in effect, then yes, they will continue to get income. Does that make sense? Right? I know. It can be confusing. Now, what is their solution on this? Good question. They don't have one. That's the problem. They don't have a solution yet, okay? This is the major problem that we've been working with and talking about for so many years. They don't have a solution. When I say they, I'm talking about lawmakers. They're the ones that have to do this. They must do this. They're the only ones that can do this. They have to come together with a long-term solution to make sure that Social Security remains solvent, in other words, money in the trust fund, and they continue to pay out 100% of promised benefits to beneficiaries with no reduction of benefits. They got a lot of work ahead of them, and time is a-ticking. It's running down the clock, and they got to do something fast. Anyway, that's where we're at as of right now. If you're currently a beneficiary, do not worry about this at all. Right now, we've got a lot of years here, at least 7. Well, that's as of right now. I project that time frame is going to contract a lot more here, but we have about 7 years. Don't worry about your benefits being reduced or cut or anything like that anytime soon. But if we have this conversation in 5 years, I'd be saying, yeah, we're probably going to have to start worrying right now if they have not done anything. But that's still 5 years away, okay? Point being is that that's for current beneficiaries. If you're a beneficiary that's looking at benefits in the, say, the next 10, 12, 15 years, well, we're going to be talking about a totally different thing at that point. This is what we know as of now. All I'm saying is that in 10, 12, 15 years, it's going to look very different, guaranteed, okay? All right, anyway, hope this helps you. Please, again, if you are already enrolled in Medicare, if you're turning 65, or if you are retiring at any time in the next 6 months, if any of those apply to your situation, call that phone number. Let them give you some free help. They're there to help you. It's totally free. They have access to 20,000 plans. They've already helped about 5,000 of you here in this community. The average person here in this community that is calling them is saving $1,100. That is the average savings. I could give you a whole bunch of examples of people saving way more than that, of names of people that have literally left comments on other videos telling us exactly how much they saved. But anyway, the average is $1,100. Call them. If you need to enroll in Medicare, they will help you with your initial enrollment. If you're already on Medicare, call them for sure. Now here during annual enrollment, call them. They will help you make sure that you're properly covered so the extra 20% that Medicare does not cover is not on your back, but rather You know, you can get a supplement plan, a Medigap plan, an Advantage plan, whatever is best for your situation. They will help you find that, by the way. And make sure that you put the burden on, one of those insurance providers, not you, because that could add up super fast if you're on the hook for 20%, which you are unless you get that supplemental or Advantage additional coverage. And again, they, right there with that phone number, will help you find the best plan for you. Give them a call after you talk to them. Use the word chapter down below in the comments section on any video. That's the keyword I searched for, and I'd love to give you a shout out and feature you in an upcoming video. Enjoy. I hope this helps you. Please subscribe if you're new here, 100% free. Please share the video, big share button down below. Make sure to check out the other 6,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. Down below in the description, I've hand-selected some very popular videos. And at the top of the comment section, there is a pinned comment from me. I've also hand-selected some popular videos for you there. Check those out. And by the way, that phone number is also linked in the description and the top of the comment section. Check it out there. And let me know how it goes. Look forward to hearing from you. Enjoy. Hope this helps you, and I will catch you again.